Greg Gorbach with ARC, and today I'm speaking with Artem Kroupenev, Vice President of Strategy at Augury. Welcome, Artem.
Hey, nice to be here.
So I understand that Augury coined the term machine health. Can you talk a little bit about what that means for your customers and how Augury helps?
Well, of course, if we're in the manufacturing space, it's obvious, but it's not obvious to a lot of other people. When machines fail, production lines stop working. Production lines stop working, people don't need the goods, the services that they need, people don't get the water, the electricity that they need. And supply chains get disrupted. So manufacturing is really at the heart of supply chains and the economy, and machines are at the heart of manufacturing. And so machine health is incredibly important. And we have created technology and solutions and capabilities to make sure that machines essentially don't fail or fail a lot less than they do. Mm-hmm. And we do that by utilizing AI and software and hardware capabilities that are deployed across production lines, which essentially help customers avoid downtime, extend the life cycle of their assets, help people on the production lines and processes collaborate a lot more to solve machine health issues, and thereby create dramatic effects and dramatic increases in capacity, in the effectivity and the operational efficiency of those production processes. So consumers can get the goods that they need on time, and production lines and supply chains can function.
Okay. Well, maybe you can give me a couple examples of some big impacts that your customers have received by implementing machine health programs?
Absolutely. So today we work with over 100 leading manufacturers, so both process manufacturing as well as heavy industrial companies through some of our partnerships. And almost across all our customers, we see a very similar story repeat. Once Augury is deployed, within a very short amount of time, within months, and then typically under a year, there's a rollout of the technology from 1 factory to 5 factories, 10 factories, and then across the full manufacturing portfolio. It could be 20, 30, 60 plants. And so for our customers, this is typically the fastest deployment of IoT and AI technologies across their manufacturing portfolio. Mm-hmm. And companies like Colgate or companies like ICL or PepsiCo enjoy these really dramatic impacts right away. So first of all, they nearly completely eliminate downtime on the production processes and the machines where we deploy them. Secondly, we extend the life of those assets and dramatically decrease the cost of maintenance and operations for those assets. And thirdly, and I would say probably more importantly even, we see a dramatic change in the transition for their maintenance and reliability teams and operations teams, going from something that's more reactive, a more traditional time-based, into something that's completely based on predictive insights. And so they can see ahead of the curve and really take the guesswork out of maintenance and reliability. And so those impacts also help the workforce become a lot more innovative and a lot better at being more precise at solving problems. So the transition is not just about technology and operational impact. It's also about the manufacturer's ability to transform digitally and also transform in terms of the behavior for the workforce that's rooted in the insights that Augury provides and also the type of engagement that we enable for our customers.
Okay. I mean, you touched on some of your customers scaling up their implementations, but I wonder if you could just elaborate on that a little bit more for me.
Typically, what we see across most equipment and manufacturing is once Augury is deployed, let's say on a production line or a whole plant, hundreds of pieces of equipment, critical equipment that rotates, we see about 30 to 40% of that equipment is experiencing malfunctions. Mm. And those malfunctions our customers typically don't know about. Mm. There's no way to tell what is happening within the actual equipment, where Augury's diagnostics provide very precise component level diagnostics that tell customers exactly what to fix, when to fix, what the issue is, how to fix it, months in advance. And so that level of visibility immediately provides value because customers understand, oh, we have a whole bunch of equipment that's really not functioning as it should be or is about to break down. So we'll go ahead and fix that. So that immediately creates dramatic impact. We experience anywhere between 3 to 7x ROI within the first year with our customers. So that's one, that's the operational impact. The second impact is, of course, there's a lot of pull from the factories themselves. Mm-hmm. And that's because of the ease of use and also our understanding that really the solution is not built for experts. or you don't have to create a significant team of expertise or capabilities within your organization. You can work with your existing team of technicians who have their areas of expertise, but they don't have to become data scientists. They don't have to figure out how to build algorithms. They just get the results of the platform. And so the engagement is very, very high. When Augury issues an alert or a diagnostic result, 90% of the time, somebody takes an action almost immediately. And so that engagement and that pull from the factories is what enables scale, right? So the operational impact, alignment with the vision overall, right, of transitioning factories and plants and whole portfolios to be a lot more digitally transformed, and then pull from the factories. And in a lot of cases, technicians say, where has this been all my life, right? And in a lot of cases, the maintenance org, which typically is not seen as such, becomes the most advanced within the whole manufacturing organization as a result of deploying our solutions and our partnership with those customers.
So sustainability seems like it's the next big disruptor on the horizon. Have you thought about sustainability and the relationship to machine health?
Absolutely. There's a direct causal relationship, if you will. And the impact of machines on sustainability it couldn't be overstated. About 30% of all energy is utilized by industry. And if you take into account the way energy is produced, the way it's transmitted, and all the way that energy goes into whether it's buildings or industrial factories, that's about 70% of the world's energy use. So, and most of those processes are run by machines, whether those rotating pieces of machinery or those industrial machines, that's run by machines. And so in the end, if we make machines a lot more effective, then they utilize a lot less energy and they generate a lot less emissions. By making production processes more effective, more efficient, we're essentially have a direct impact on sustainability of those factories, of those plants, of those processes. And the value proposition is very clear to a lot of manufacturers. How can you utilize what you have today already deployed, your existing means of production, without changing things completely, without really changing the way you work, but really just increasing the efficiency dramatically to have that sustainability impact? And a lot of manufacturers struggle with that because they have really high-end company level sustainability goals, but operationally, how do you actually improve that while you make sure that you continue your throughput, your yield, continue keeping your same quality, continue to keep your same profit margins? That's incredibly difficult to do with existing methods, traditional methods and methodologies. But once you introduce technologies like Augury's that utilizes AI, you can actually have a dramatic impact by utilizing those same assets that you have without replacing them. And so this is part of the value proposition that we have with machine health. We can talk about how we're expanding that value proposition into process health and production health, where the impact on sustainability is even more dramatic.
Okay, well, maybe we can go there next, because now that your customers are consistently solving machine health problems at scale, what's next for them?
Well, we have recently announced the acquisition of a company called Cibo, adding to our machine health capabilities. We're now introducing process health. And this is one of the core capabilities that Cibo has. And now as part of Augury, we're really combining what we have done for reliability engineering and manufacturing, which is machine health, taking the guesswork out of how do I ensure that my assets are healthy, and taking the same approach to process engineering and operations. How do I make sure that I optimize for my yield, my quality, my throughput, my energy use across my production process, and do it very, very effectively and have the right level of insight and very actionable recommendations of what to change in the process, specifically to improve my operational metrics. So taking the same approach from reliability engineering with machine health, applying it to process health, where process engineers essentially start optimizing for their objectives and spend less time on trying to figure out the root causes of what is causing inefficiencies within their process. By combining those two, we're actually going into a new area, which is called production health. And production health is a combination of machine health and process health. Obviously, we know that machines affect your process, and your process affects how you should be utilizing and maintaining your equipment. But those two worlds today are not correlated in any meaningful way. Maintenance teams often don't really talk to the manufacturing operations teams. They don't optimize for the same metrics. They don't have the same schedules. They don't have the same incentives. But when we combine the insights between, well, if my machine is operating in a certain condition, how specifically is that affecting my yield? And if I want to optimize for my yield or throughput, how am I going to maintain my equipment? By correlating between that information and providing those insights to both teams, now we can bring them a lot closer together. And so now the whole manufacturing team becomes empowered to optimize for a single goal, which is meeting customer demand and doing so sustainably, cost effectively, in a very kind of meaningfully optimized manner. So that is production health, is having production teams talk to each other and really giving them the insight to increase their operational excellence based on those AI inputs that take into context both the health of the equipment and the health of their processes at the same time.
Okay, thanks. That sounds really helpful. Artem, thanks very much. I've enjoyed speaking with you today. Great job.
All right, thanks so much and great being here.
I've been speaking with Artem Kroupenev, Vice President of Strategy at Augury. Thanks for watching.